The 50 Podcast.
50 Podcast.
Hey everybody, we're here with the 50 Podcast. We're here with Miss DeJanee White. She is a police officer by night and one of the strongest women by day, and she has trophies to prove it. She's an outspoken advocate on domestic violence, mental health, and a dedicated follower of Christ. I'm so excited to get to know you. She actually worked last night and she's still here with us this morning. So she's on like no sleep. So I really appreciate you being here. And she was poor today. She's just like hustling. So for our listeners who don't know who you are, we'll get into deeper stuff about you. So you don't have to go into depth, but give us a quick bio on like who you are and we'll go from there.
Well, my name is DeJanee White and I work in Kentucky. I've been a police officer for a total of 6 years. I did quit and come back to policing. I guess we'll end up talking about that later. But I also used to compete in strongman. So I have a background in a little bit of everything right now, but I won't go into too much detail since we're gonna get on the topics in the segment.
Yes, perfect. She's all the way out in Tennessee or in Kentucky. What's the weather in Kentucky right now? Is it nice?
Right now, I think it's about 80. I have on a sweatshirt right now, and I'm feeling fine. But come 6 o'clock when it's time for me to go to work, I'm pretty sure it's gonna hit up to like 96.
Ooh, girl. All right. So, what inspired you to become a police officer?
Honestly, I didn't want to be a police officer at all. I work for the department that I'm currently at. I was just doing parking tickets, and they had told me to apply, and I was like, okay, I guess it won't hurt to apply. And in my mind, I was like, I probably won't get it at all, but I was like, hey, it doesn't hurt to try. So I end up applying, and I scored in like the top 5 out of everybody that applied, and I was like, oh wow. And then I end up going to the academy, and now that I'm in it, what really inspires me the most is being out in the community. I'm very big on community relationships, and also very big on mentoring younger girls. I did a lot of that when I was in Tennessee. I'm just now starting to get back into the swing of things since I've been out of policing.
Yeah. I did mentoring with young girls and community relations too in Chicago. And I think that's definitely the most important, especially for us women, to like inspire young girls to like want to be police officers. And I think that's amazing. So what have you faced any struggles in law enforcement? And if so, is that what led you to leave law enforcement when you did? And we'll talk about you getting back into it. But what struggles have you faced as like a female, and what led you to leave law enforcement?
So the struggles that I faced was the department that I started with. It was like I was not getting the teaching that I wanted and that I needed. And a lot of this I actually relate to them when I relate this to them before I left, and also once I came back. I relate this information to them because I don't feel like I was taught the way that I wanted to be taught. To me, it was just like they looked at me as a female, and a lot of times it was just stay 10-8 for calls while they were getting their hands dirty. I didn't sign up to just write reports. I want to get my hands dirty just like the guys get their hands dirty, and they're doing search warrants, they're searching cars, they're doing all of that stuff. So that was one of like the biggest struggles that I faced when I started off, because it was just like, just look at her as like a female, or look at her as a sister, and I don't want her to get hurt or something like that. That's how I looked at it in the back of my mind. And I was like, I get that, but I did not sign up to be a police officer for you guys to not allow me to do the things that you're doing.
We love that, by the way. And you know what's really interesting? You mentioned like training, and it kind of just made me reflect about like my own training. Like they do train us all in a big group and all the same way. And not everybody learns like in the same way. So I think that that's super important for like departments to think about is like, maybe someone's not picking up on the training because the way that you're doing it, like sometimes we'll learn a whole training on a what is it? Like I'm drawing a blank, but we're watching like a slideshow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is doing nothing for me, you know? Yeah. So it's like, I totally get what you're saying. And then as a female, we are maybe not expected to be able to handle ourselves in situations, and which is totally untrue. So I love that you wanted to get your hands dirty and you voiced that. So when did you make that decision that you were going to leave? And how hard was that for you?
I made the decision when I worked in Tennessee. So it had the rioting and COVID. It was just a bunch of stuff that started hitting all at once. Yeah. And I didn't quit because of that, but my mental state was not in the space that I needed to be out here patrolling the streets and allowing people to look up to me, because I was not in that mental headspace. Because a lot, like I've gotten comments on Facebook, or not Facebook, on Instagram, and was like, oh, you quit because you were looking for a better job. No, that had absolutely nothing to do with me quitting. I quit because my mental space was not where I needed to be, especially with the rioting and COVID and everything just hitting all at once. And then one of my struggles is being a Black female and policing. So being on that line while they're rioting and everything, just hearing some of the things that they were saying to me, like some of them were like, I see you out here and you're fighting and you're doing, you're doing the police work. I see you. But then there was other ones where it was just like, it was so degrading and so hurtful. And it was just like, it started to get to me. It started to take a toll. And then like the area that I policed in, I love the area I policed in, don't get me wrong, but I got burnt out on the area as well. And I was just like, I need a break from that. And I told one of my supervisors, I was like, can you just move me just for a little bit? I just need a break from that area. But they wouldn't do it. And I was like, I can't do this right now. And I end up quitting.
I think that that's super respectful. And I think that you're amazing for choosing your mental health. A lot of officers are too afraid to choose their mental health, and they want to put on this like facade that they're like this strong robot when they're hurting inside. And I think that you saying like, I'm not the best like version of myself for people to look up to me right now is like so amazing. And I've been there, and I've tried to push through, and there was times that I should have taken a step back and I didn't, and I wasn't the best version of myself. So I really respect that. After you left, did you have a hard time finding purpose or like adjusting to life as a civilian? And
gosh, I tried a little bit of everything, and I was just like
trying to find your niche, huh?
Yes. I went into car sales. I went into logistics.
I saw that.
I was just like, none of this is for me. Like, I was like, I'm not good at talking on the phones. I'm more of a face-to-face person. But I come to find out, like, being in car sales, they're rude. They're
sharks.
Rude. Yes. And I was like, I can't do this. So it was difficult. I met some great people. Don't get me wrong. I met some great people. I had a really good time just kind of just not being in law enforcement. But then I was just like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
none of what I'm doing is for me. And I tried to like find other avenues to get into that didn't require me putting back on the uniform. But I don't think that is well, now I know that's not what was in God's plan, because clearly I'm back in uniform. I'm back patrolling. But I was looking for everything to get back into the field without putting on the uniform. So I do think that there is a purpose out here. I think that there's a reason that I'm back in uniform and that I'm back in patrol. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I know that it will come to me.
I definitely think there's a reason. And I think that like your like sparkle is the fact that you're so open, because like we said, like so many officers are so afraid to like just be vulnerable because they don't want to look like weak, even though it's not, because you're humanizing the badge. Like you're showing that like we're people too. And like, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to like be a female, but want to be tough and want to be strong, but also have like emotions. And like, it's normal. Like it's okay.
Right.
Many other jobs and many other people can take these breaks. And like, as a police officer, we can't.
Right.
But like, there should be space for you to have kept your job and, you know, been able to take a step back. And because that wasn't allowed, you chose your mental health, which is super respectful. And more people need to take notes, honestly. So you couldn't find your niche and you came back. How was that decision? And when you first started, did you feel like, did it click right away? You're like, oh, this is where I need to be? Or did you feel judged? Or like, how did that go when you came back?
I didn't feel judged. It actually felt right. I felt at peace, honestly. Because I was in Tennessee and I literally was sitting here like, oh my God, like I need to figure out what it is that I'm doing. I need to figure out my purpose. And I got in contact with the chief of police wife. Well, she actually messaged me about something totally unrelated to the job. And then once we figured all of that out, I just messaged her and was like, hey, can you pass my information along to chief and, you know, let him know that I want to come back. He texted me 2 days later and he was like, welcome home, D. And I was just like,
oh my God, I love that.
I was like, okay. So I love that. I do too. Yeah. So I went through the process with everything and then here I am. So I knew it. Like I can feel when something is right, just because I'm very religious. I do pray, so I can feel when something when I'm supposed to be somewhere, when I'm supposed to be doing something.
Yeah. And when you came back, were people like super receptive of you being back?
They're actually surprised. They were excited that I was back, but they were surprised because they're like, I thought you would never come back. You know, I thought that you were done with police.
Yeah.
They're just different things like that. And I was like, well, here I am. Because I said
timing is important. You know, timing is everything. Like maybe at that time of your life, like it was just too soon for the timing of your life. And like now is just a better time.
Yeah.
And policing is such a hard job. It's not like you said, like walking into like being a car salesman is hard too, for sure. But you're not seeing the horrible things that we're seeing every day or hearing those words, like you said, like being talked to like in horrible ways. And like your mental health probably just grew over time too. And like timing is everything. You're just more ready and that's even better.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your strengths, because I'm curious to know something that inspired you to be both physically and mentally tough has been past relationships, and you've spoken out about that. And it's not another thing you're so outspoken about, which I totally respect. It's like you advocate for women to be strong and, you know, leave bad relationships and be able to handle yourself in bad situations. Can you tell us a little bit about like what inspired you to become like in those strong women competitions and your past relationships, how that all led to the place you're at?
Yeah. So, years back, I was in a domestic violence relationship, and it was really tough. And I told myself that I would never, ever, ever allow another man to put his hands on me ever. So, like when you're pinned down and you just can't move, and it's just like, how do I get myself out of this situation? How do I break free? So, I didn't join, like I said, I didn't join the police department for domestic violence or anything like that.
Right.
But the academy taught me self-defense things, and I know after I graduated the academy, that's when I started to get into strongman, and then I just fell in love with it, and I was just like, wow, this is great. Like, I love this, and I love the strength and the confidence that it's given me. So I've more so done it because it gives me a confidence boost, and it just allowed me to be who I actually am. Like, because I've always been strong, and I didn't know until I actually got into strongman, and it gave me so much confidence. And like I said, like I use not the weightlifting or anything, but I use, like, in case I come in contact with a guy that's bigger than me, I'm going to fight until my backup gets there. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that I'm okay until my backup gets there. I may not, I don't want to get on the ground and I can't get up. So that's what inspired me to continue on and continue to weightlift, because I don't want to get out here, get attacked, and I'm pinned down to the ground and I can't get myself up.
Yeah.
So.
It's like everything in your life is tied together. It's like you had this past relationship and you wanted to learn how to, like, get out of it, but then you join the police department and they teach you defensive tactics, and then you become this strong woman, and you know how to defend yourself, and now you can advocate for women. I'm sure you go on a ton of domestic violence calls. You can relate to them, and like everything is like God's plan of tying everything in your life together to help other people, which is like so amazing. How many competitions have you been in, and how many, like, trophies do you have? I know I watched your video. I know you at least have 10.
Yeah, I have a lot. I'm not sure. I know I have a little over 10. I competed since 2014. I don't compete anymore. But yeah, I have a
lot.
of trophies.
That's so cool. And for those of you who are watching, she literally pulled a truck, like, with a rope by herself. I watched the whole video. I was like, oh my God, I need to hit the gym. Okay, so you work with a lot of men, obviously. Do they get intimidated by your strength, or how do you feel, or how do they feel about how strong you are? It's like you can beat them up probably.
They don't get intimidated. It's crazy. Like, they don't get intimidated. I know my supervisor was like, oh, well, we had the search warrant and I almost called you to kick the door down. And I was like, I was like, well, what makes you think that I can do that? And I'm just like, I think I can do that. Like,
I can't do that. I just pulled the truck last night. I'm tired.
But no, they think that it's great. They never had anything negative to say about it. Always been positive. So yeah, they think it's great. I have more problems in the dating world versus policing.
Well, it's hard to date as a police officer in general. And because of first of all, our schedules. Yeah. Second of all, men are often intimidated by women in this field. And then on top of that, you're strong as shit. So yeah, no, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
do you date other officers, or do you try not to?
I try not to. I have dated other officers, but I'm also, like, right now, I'm kind of just, I've been going on dates, and I've kind of just been like, you know what, I'm just going to let everything just run its course, because I'm like, I'm not gonna get tied up into that. And I'm like, when the time comes, it comes.
Yeah.
If not, then it is what it is. But I've been on dates where it was literally like it was so disrespectful because they found out like I'm a police officer and I weight lift, and I've had some of the absolute worst like comments in the world, and I'm just like, wow, like I can't believe you said that. Or they're like, you know what, I wouldn't fight you, I would just have to straight shoot you because yes, I've heard that several times.
Oh,
I'm really just like, and I'm like, yep, we're done here. Like,
yeah, we're done.
Several times I've heard people, like I've heard guys tell me that they will fight me because they're like there's no point in us arguing and all this other stuff. I don't argue for one, but I'm not gonna sit here and explain that to some random person that I'm literally on a date with, and I'm just like, yep, I'm done here. So yeah, dating is just
You'll find your person. Oh, you have such a glow about you. I'm not worried about you at all. When you get like hate from whoever and on the internet too, because I'm sure you do get some. Maybe you don't by some miracle, but I'm sure you do. How do you deal with like, because I'm getting some personally. I know a lot of people watching this. There's a lot of bullying on the internet. There's a lot of hateful things about being the police, and you're a Black female. So I'm sure that you've dealt with like something different than like I've dealt with. How do you said confidence, that your confidence is built a lot, which is great. But when it comes to like these words that really hurt, what has helped you like take those words and like still be confident and not let it affect your mental health anymore? I mean, it's still going to affect you, right? Let's be real. But how do you, is it your faith in Christ, or what helps you through all that?
Well, I have really thick skin. And being in Tennessee, that's taught me a lot because, like I said, the whole riding and everything like that, that's taught me a lot to have thick skin. So a lot of times, and I even tell people that I come in contact with, because they'll call me out on my name, and I'm like, you're not hurting my feelings. Like that, what you said, that it doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, and I can be sarcastic sometimes, and I'm like, was I supposed to cry? Like,
Yeah, like,
like, but I have really thick skin, so a lot of times it doesn't hurt my feelings. And then like anything that I hear online, I just like, if it's negative, I don't respond back. I delete and I block. Like,
yeah.
now, like where my mental space is now, like, and I tell people, you're not going to disturb my peace at all. Like, you're just the person behind the keyboard. You can continue to type all you want to. Now you're talking to yourself because you're blocked. I block people. I don't care.
Yeah, I've been on the blocking train lately too.
Yeah.
On the days where you feel tired or you feel stressed out, or you know, your mental health or whatever, what motivates you to keep going?
Because I know that there's a lot of people that actually do look up to me. I know because I've had people reach out, even once I stopped policing, I've had people reach out, and then I have people reaching out now and just ask for advice, or just giving me positive words of encouragement and everything. So things like that is what keeps me going. Like I have a bunch of I have so many pictures on my phone, but I have a bunch of like screenshots of just different messages from, especially women, women, like just the positive vibes that they give me and everything. That's what keeps me going, because I'm like, okay, they're out here, they're reaching out to me, they're looking up to me, and I'm like, that's great. Like that feels good. That makes me feel good. So I'm like, I don't so much do it for me, but I'm like, I'm doing this for them, because there's so many women that are trying to get into policing, but they're nervous about something. So they reach out to me a lot of times about just different questions and everything.
Yeah. And actually, it's funny, the reason that I found you in the first place, because one of my friends is like a big fan of you. But he's a guy. But yeah, he's like, when I first started my podcast, he was the one who showed me your profile and everything. And then I was like, oh my God, I love her. And he's like, you have to interview her. Like, she's the best. And I didn't even know if you were going to respond to me, because I know that a ton of people, I could tell, like message you, and you're getting, you know, you have a huge platform. And you definitely do have people like looking up to you and your story. And I think it's awesome that you left and came back. Like you took your power into your own hands, took your break, and like you realized like this is the path you need to be on. And I think that's super inspirational. And I can't wait for people to hear this too. But yes, you do have fans, girl. You got fans. I'm one, definitely.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your faith and how it helps you through life and your career?
So, back when I got into policing, I was in the police academy and we had handgun qualifications, and I had failed my handgun qualification the first time. So I remember driving back to the academy and I'm just praying, and I was like, God, if this is what you want me to do, I need a sign, I need something, because I was like, I've never shot a gun before. So,
and again, they just expect you to pick it up and know what to do, right?
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going back, and I'm freaking out because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna pass this. So I'm like, I'm praying on the way there. It's an hour drive, so I'm praying on the way there. And as I'm praying, like this truck, the semi truck with this big cross on the front of the on the truck just comes riding by, and I was like, there's no way.
Oh my God.
There's no way. And
shit, I'm going.
Yeah. And that's how I knew. I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be here. There's a reason I'm supposed to be here. And I end up passing. Like I passed that time, but I was like, that is so crazy. It was like the craziest thing that I have ever experienced in my life. But yeah, that's.
Do you pray before your shifts?
I'm not gonna sit here and say that I always do, because I don't.
Yeah.
But I do, like, and then there's times where I'm in my car and I'll have my my gospel music playing. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I always pray, because I don't.
Yeah.
My faith though, like I am a believer, but I don't always sit here and pray.
Yeah. I don't either, but I wish I did.
Same.
I try, or like when I get sent to like dispatched to a call that sounds like really bad, I'll say something like on the way, I'll be like, God, like lead my path, like make my path safe and make it a safe call. Like, but I hate like going to God when shit hits the fan. Like I want to be better about my faith in general,
right?
But we can only do so much, right? We're trying.
Right.
We're busy ladies. Okay, we're going to wrap it up really soon because I know you have to go, but I do have a few questions from some followers for you. So what is the best workout to get me ready for the academy?
Push-ups. Lots and lots of push-ups. Because push-ups, they're going to have you doing push-ups like crazy. I don't know how each academy works. I've been to 2, well, not necessarily 2, because one of them was just 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But the one in Tennessee was completely different than the one in Kentucky. If a piece of paper was out of place, oh, they're yelling, you're dropping down, you're doing push-ups.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I could, because a lot of women have a problem with upper body strength.
Yeah.
Push-ups will build your upper body strength. Push-ups will build your upper body strength a lot. So I would, the push-ups, you're going to be running a lot. So you might as well start hitting the track, start having some drills. You're going to be running a lot. And yeah, those are the main 2, because those were the main 2 that we did in both academies, was a lot of running and a lot of push-ups.
Yeah, same with me, and especially outside too, because you get cold in Tennessee too, or in Kentucky, and I was in Chicago, and I didn't realize how hard it is to run in like negative weather. So
yeah, Chicago is cold. I grew up in Oswego, Illinois.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah,
That's Corley's. Okay.
Yeah.
If someone visits your page, what do you hope their takeaway is?
I really just hope that they see like the positive vibes. Again, I'm very open about anything. I hope that they know that whatever it is that they can, if they just want to reach out and ask a question, that they're able to do that. I'm hoping that I'm giving them a friendly vibe to my page where they're like, okay, well, she lifts weights. Okay, let me ask her a question about this. Or, oh, I seen a video where she's talking about domestic, or I see a video where she's talking about her finances. I just want them to be able to ask any questions that they have, or I just want to be able to inspire someone to just live in their purpose and let them know, like, struggles don't last always. Because there's a video on my page where I'm literally on a hiking trail and I literally just break down crying because I'm just like, I'm in a better space, and it's explained in the in like the comment section on that video, but it was just where I'm in a better space mentally and financially and everything like that. So I just want them to be able to just be open, and hopefully it motivates someone to be more open about what they're going through in their life, because you never know who you're inspiring or who you're touching.
Yeah. And I definitely think that officers need to take like a page from your book and be more open, because so many times we're looked at as like people with no emotions, or we have no problems, but we're still human beings.
Right.
So, all right, let me see. Okay. Almost last question. Where do you see your career going from here?
So right now, I'm wanting to promote. Of course, with me just being back, I don't know how soon that will happen, but I'm not sure if I want to go the sergeant's route or if I want to go into an investigator role. Because I'm very passionate about domestic violence, sexual assault. We don't have a homicide unit out here, but I was very passionate about that as well. But I don't know if I would go that route because it's so time consuming. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure, but I know like later on in life, I've always was like, be pretty cool to be chief of police one day.
So I think you should be, girl, because more of our leaders need to be like open and honest and not be like, it's bad when you're afraid to approach your boss. Like, I want to be able to like go to my boss for anything. Like,
right.
So I think the sky's the limit for you. Definitely. And I can't wait to watch and see where you go. Do you have any final takeaways before we wrap this up? Anything you want to tell anybody who's listening?
I would just say, keep going after what you're passionate about. Don't especially if you're in policing, or if you're thinking of going into policing, hold your head high. Because it's a male dominant career. Don't let these men tell you what you can and cannot do. You, again, like I said earlier, you did not sign up. So maybe you did sign up to write reports. I doubt that's what you did. I know that you're wanting to get out here and get your hands dirty. Show them that you can get your hands dirty. Show them that you can be the first woman on the SWAT team, or, make history. Do what it is that you want to do. Don't allow anybody in the department to dictate your future. And always take your mental health serious. Go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy at all. I'm still looking for a therapist out here. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with going to therapy and talking it out. Talk to some of your close friends. Talk to your spouse. Just don't put too much on them, especially if they're not in policing, because that can take a toll on them as well. But make sure that you're open about it, because if not, and you do have a spouse, you have children or whatever, that can start taking a toll on them as well. So,
yeah. Thank you so much. And where can we find you online? Where can we follow you?
So I have Facebook, I have Instagram, and I have Snapchat. My Instagram is DE_ the word double and the letter U. And my Facebook, you can just type in my first and last name, DeJanee White, and it'll pop up. So
Awesome. So thank you so much for staying awake. You look well rested, girl. I would have never known. And I cannot wait for this episode to drop. You were so amazing and like so open and so honest. Let's stay in touch. Please be safe. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
no problem. Thank you.